What is going on, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. So today is an exciting day because today officially kicks off day one of the Smoker Build series. That's right, finally getting to it. Like I said, I was gonna promise that I would get this video out by this week, so it's gonna be coming out here in a few days. But as of today, our main focus is just gonna be building the main frame that the propane tank is gonna actually sit on. So that's what we'll be doing today. All right, so up to this point, I have done a few things already. I have already cut into the tank, and I did that last fall. So when I initially got this tank, it had been sitting in the field for about 5 or 6 years, and it had all the gauges and everything pulled out, so it was just open air, nothing in it. So when I got home, I actually went through YouTube, go figure, and found out the best way to actually do this and cut into it safely. What I ended up doing was I ended up filling the entire tank with water and soap, and then as it was full, I went ahead and started actually cutting into it with my grinder, and it worked out pretty good. I felt pretty safe about it. Now, I am not an expert on this, and I do not advise anybody to do this on their own because it is dangerous and can be very dangerous. So go ahead, do your research on it, and if you'll feel comfortable about it, go ahead, do what you gotta do. But I am not advising anybody to do this. I also went ahead and I cut out all the bungs where all the actual fittings and attachments would have been for the gauges and everything like that. And I patched those up as well last year. So since then, the tank has just been sitting outside my shop, and I finally decided to do the build that I wanted to do. Now, yesterday, I did go ahead and I already cut all my pieces to build this frame and got everything measured out and cleaned up and ground down and ready to go. I really didn't think anybody wanted to see just fast forward of me grinding for hours and hours and hours, because that's basically all it was. But what I did to figure out all those measurements, I just took a little notepad, took out some actual quick measurements on what I wanted, and then just figured out what my cuts all need to be. So I had everything ready, and it's all ready to get welded and tacked together now. That being said, this is gonna be a ski style, right? So full runners along the bottom, actual frame that this propane tank will be sitting on. Because remember, eventually this will get lifted up and attached onto a trailer permanently, or semi-permanently. I haven't decided if I want to weld it directly to the frame or actually just bolt it on, so if I ever want to remove it off the trailer, I can. We'll get to that point when we get to that point. But up till now, the skis will actually be sticking out far enough that the firebox itself will be sitting on top of it as well. So you'll see that I'll have about a 36-inch overhang of my actual material coming out the back side of it. That will be where the firebox actually sits and gets built in right there. I am using 2-inch square tubing and 1/4-inch wall. Plenty strong enough for this, but I already had this laying around, so I thought might as well use the material that I have and keep the cost down. So that being said, I'm gonna go ahead, I'll just show you the pieces real quick, and get you an idea of what they all look like. I beveled some of the edges so I can get better penetration on my welds, and that's it. And then we'll just go ahead and get this up on my table and start tacking it all together and getting this thing built. So here are the pieces right here. These two little pieces right here are 15 inches. I need a total width of 19 inches. So these are the two cross members that will go in between to attach the two runners together. As you can see, I did bevel all sides of these so I can just get better penetration on my welds itself. And then you can see here's the full length runners right here. And then these are my uprights right here. I have not beveled this end of them at all. This will be the top where the tank actually sits, because I'm positive that I'm gonna have to go ahead and cut them slightly so I can get the proper angle and fit once the tank actually gets set up on top of it. But this end that will be getting attached to the runners themselves, you can see is beveled out. All right, guys, well, it's time to finally actually start getting this welded up. As you can see, I already got it out here on my table, laid out, ready to go. I squared it up. I got a couple magnets help holding this in place. Next thing up, start tacking, getting this thing actually put together. All right, well, that's one side. It is tacked together. Welds look pretty good. I'm happy with them. And yeah, time to move on to the next one. the upright portions. I still have to tie in the cross ties. But before I do that, I think I'm gonna go ahead, hit them with a quick flap disc, kind of clean up the welds a little bit better so I don't have to worry about it. Once it's all fully assembled, it's gonna be a lot heavier. So I thought it would just be easier to do now, clean it up real quick, and then go ahead and weld in the cross members. So everything's ground down, cleaned up a little bit. Now it's time to go ahead, add these cross members in. Like I said, these are 15-inch pieces. I needed a total width of 19 to the outside of my uprights for where I want it placed on the actual tank. So that's it at this point. All I gotta do is go ahead, weld these in, get them attached, and that's gonna be pretty much it for this video. So let's go ahead, get that knocked out, and then I'll show you guys the end result. Cross members tacked into place. They're looking pretty good. Now I'm actually going to be adding in this cross member here to help make sure everything stays square and just a little bit more support once the tank is sitting on top of this entire skid. So that being said, I already got them cut, got them leveled out, make sure we got the right distances, and now I just got to go ahead, get these tacked in, and then once that's done, go ahead, finish welding up everything up and call it good for the day. And to be honest, I'm glad, because it is so hot down here today. It is over 100 degrees and the humidity is kicking, and my shop is probably even hotter than outside. So I'm ready to get this wrapped up. I'm sure you guys are as well. That being said, I'm gonna go ahead and start getting this welded up. So here we are, day one is finally in the books. I've got the frame all put together. I still got to do some final welding on it. I don't think it's really worth actually just filming me doing a bunch of welding, but you guys get the gist of it. As I show you right here, it's pretty basic, but it's gonna be strong, sturdy, and it's gonna be supporting all the weight of the actual propane tank and then the firebox and everything else as well. I'm pretty happy with the design so far. Also on the ends, I'll probably end up taking some pieces, cutting it out, and actually welding them on there and making them look nice and finished so they have a better look at the end. But so far, I'm pretty happy with the build so far. If you guys have been enjoying this up to this point, please go ahead and hit that like button, and go ahead, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you guys don't miss the next episodes that will be coming out for this build. I'm pretty excited about the next episode because I have a special guest coming out to help out with it, and I'm very excited to be able to share that with you guys. Until then, you guys, cheers and enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you